try to do as much as we can, and also the new songs.
Yes.
Brian, it was my pleasure, or you are starting the shows with Back in Black, or it was my pleasure in Miami?
It was an idea we thought of when we were rehearsing. We're just trying to think of an opening song, and we've always started open with the song from the new album. And bugger it.
We'll do something different.
Yeah.
So you're doing like a little, a bit different every show, just to have more fun in your case, because the audience will always have fun.
Yeah, we try to do, a lot of it is, from when we play, the audience and how they, the response we get back. Sometimes you can see us on stage, we're saying what we play next.
You really surprised me, guys, with the inclusion of Down Payment Blues.
Yes.
Is the first time you're playing that, or is the perfect introduction to the Jack?
It's the first time I played that, well, for me.
Brian.
But it was great, but you see, another night we changed it to Doggy Dog, or we could, Hell in a Bad Place to Be, and tonight, who knows? We'll make our mind up. We'll probably sit in the dressing room and what shall we do?
Okay, vamos a hacer una pausa en Headbangers y ya vamos a estar de vuelta con más AC/DC. Lo único que tienen que hacer, ya vienen videos de The Poor, viene That's the Way I Wanna Rock and Roll y más con AC/DC, así que quieres. Seguimos en Headbangers junto a AC/DC. Hace un rato veíamos un video, Who Cares, del álbum de The Poor. Let's talk about The Poor. They're your official opening act in the United States. What's the relationship between The Poor? They are very AC/DC in terms of sound. What's the relationship between you and...
Well, they have... I know I saw them in Australia, and they were playing at the time. They were doing... they were one of the few bands that I saw you saw people, you didn't see it in the newspaper, the people were going to see them just by talking, and for a new band, that's always good when you see people talking. And I know that when they went into America the first time and played, people were talking, same again, people in the streets were talking about it. So, they're good rock and roll band.
My wife bought that album before she even knew anything about it, But I think the important thing as well, talking to the kids after the show, a lot of them were coming up and saying that's the best support,
the best band
you've ever had.
And
I
do
think
you
that's
have
important.
any names or any special band that you would like to see as a support act for AC/DC?
I don't think they can get, maybe the Beatles.
Not there's a Beatles in your unit?
It was the best. If there's any requirements to be filled, it sounds snotty, but they've got everything going for them, haven't they? Like
rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
What about AC/DC now on stage? The stage now for Ballbreaker, it's very intense, it's very effective, but it's although more simple than the Race on Stage tour. Who's in charge of the design, the idea of the stage?
Well, when we started off, we didn't want to, we want to get out there and emphasize more the fact of the songs, and over the years, I think that's what people see in AC/DC. They come to see a band rather than a light show or something. So that's what our main thing was, and we've always been a band that always said, well, if you took away the lights and you took away all the big production, you would still you have the music. So, and that's what AC/DC always starts with first, and anything else we get is a bonus. If we get the
bell, the cannons and stuff. That's pretty amazing. The show is pretty amazing. Vamos a seguir viendo videos de AC/DC. Solamente les digo quédense porque todavía nos queda mucho ver entre elegir nuevos videos que no hayamos rotado en Headbangers y entre seguir conversando con Angus y con Brian. Quédense.
know AC/DC and see it. It's a bit humour, but we thought it was a good way to start.
Yeah, it's fun, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it gives a good anticipating something.
What did you feel the
special.
first time when we saw Beavis and Butthead? Because I felt when I was in one of the shows like Beavis or Butthead, it's like Butthead banging all the time. Yeah, rock.
Yeah.
And what did you feel when you saw Beavis with the AC/DC shirt and the Metallica shirt? It was
I laughed. I thought it was fun. And I know a lot of even young kids when they see it, but they find it funny too.
Yeah.
Considering that one of the strongest points in AC/DC's shows, I mean, the strongest point of AC/DC is always the live show. Why you just haven't released 2 live albums? If You Want Blood and AC/DC Live. Why just too many bootlegs?
No, we just I think at the time we've always been a band that we've never tried to be another. A lot of bands would say, well, I'll release this live and release this, and we've always been a band when we've said, well, this is when we'll do it, and especially at the time that we did do it, we had If You Want Blood with Bond singing and with Brian, and we wanted to give it a lot of space because so people could see, well, this is Brian.
Brian, we want to watch your version of the Dirty Deeds on Dirt Cheap. Where does the video take place? It's Moscow? It's
I think yes, I think it's the Moscow one. Yes, that's right, because it was split. Yeah, Moscow.
Okay, that was huge.
Yeah, it was big.
Okay, vamos a ver entonces con AC/DC en vivo la versión de Brian cantando una antigua canción del álbum Dirty Deeds on Dirt Cheap. Es esa canción, se tiene en vivo, AC/DC. Hey chicos, estamos de vuelta en Headbangers junto a AC/DC, junto a Angus y Brian para saber tantas cosas acerca de Ballbreaker. Aunque queremos hablar del pasado, no podemos dejar de hablar de Ballbreaker. It's the new album Ballbreaker, and it's the first one who's been produced by a man who produced Black Crowes, Tom Petty, Slayer. What did you find in Rick Rubin that you liked?
Oh, he was always a very big fan of AC/DC, and I had first met him, I think when he originally was doing like rap music.
Okay, the Beastie Boys.
I met him then, and then he was telling me I just take your music and I put it with a rap beat. So he was a big fan. He said he grew up, and I think he told me once when he was in high school, he said, when he had AC/DC albums under his arm, and a friend had a Led Zeppelin album, and his friend said, what do you like about AC/DC so much? He said, one AC/DC album is worth 3 Led Zeppelin albums.
He was all right now.
And while you were in the studio recording Ballbreaker, what did you try to achieve in terms of sound? The perfect balance between, for instance, Freak of the Street in the 80s and Back in Black, more produced things?
Well, probably more or less. We tried to make it more as possibly as much live but in a studio environment as possible, and try to take it back to I suppose the days of there used to be very famous blues records from Chess, and that's what we went for, and they would it's mainly where they put the microphones rather than rely on high-tech gimmickry.
So Rick Rubin was the ideal choice. Would you like to work again for a new album, or the time will tell?
Time, yeah. We always, when we go to do a record, we always like to see what who's out there and what new comes along. So.
En este tremendo especial de AC/DC vamos a ver otra canción que no la habíamos estrenado en nuestros Headbangers, una canción que ya tiene años y se llama, junto a Angus y Brian, Are You Ready?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, for us though, what is mainly is what's inside the music, you know. But I mean, if they make something, something good.
Brian, this question is for you. Is considering that now in 1996, you've been the singer of AC/DC longer now than Bon Scott. You've been like playing so many years with AC/DC. Do you feel that there's some AC/DC for the 70s because of Bon, or maybe because of just sign of the times, and AC/DC for the 80s and the 90s?
I think it's one and the same. You know, I've been in the band longer than Bon was, but I certainly I think that Bon made a huge impression because he was there at the start and helped to make those 5 individuals into AC/DC. Do you know what I mean?
He grows, I mean, it's like it just grows. But even from Back on Black in Brian, as I said, he's been there longer. Just he grows too. It just keeps growing.
Yeah, you just grow with it.
Brian, would you believe me? There's so many beliefs and
Screams of thunder.
so many beliefs in Latin America, in Chile and Argentina. I heard the same story that you were the bus driver of the AC/DC crew by the times of the Highway to Hell.
No, I didn't get that job.
Okay, so that's a lie.
No,
You were doing Jordy that time.
Yeah, I was in Jordy. I think they're getting mixed up with a story about Bon when Bon drove the boys once in Australia. I think that's where the mix-up occurred, and Bon was sitting with the boys driving, and he said to them, "Why don't you get rid of the singer you got? I'm a better singer than him." And the guys said, "Oh, he's a cocky guy, but we'll give him a try." And he went in, and he was good. And they said, "You've got the job."
Okay.
I mean, for want of a longer story, but...
Okay, now the whole Latin American audience know the truth about it. Vamos a ver con AC/DC en vivo. Esto es un clásico de 1979, Highway to Hell. A few minutes ago we were talking about like the difference between AC/DC. There's no difference between AC/DC in the 70s or the 80s, but there was a phenomena. You were platinum sellers, huge sellers, before the phenomenon of MTV and the music videos. So in the good way or bad way, in which way it affect MTV and the music videos, the whole development of the music industry and the new bands?
Yeah, I think when we started, you'd done a lot of touring, really a lot of touring, and I think for maybe new bands, they can get more possibly through the medium of the like the MTV. They can see, people can see more. I mean, you can see for the first time if there's a new band from Africa or from Denmark or something, and they get to a worldwide audience very quickly. But with us, we had to start through playing in from small, and you work your way up. A lot of road work. We still do a lot of live touring and road work, and but it's good to have both. I think it's good because for the new, it's good for people to see things new, and it's also good for in the case of us, they get to see something that was doing it before this.
Times are changing, that is a fact. MTV is one of the signs of the times, the music video, the new area of the music industry. But what do you think about like bands that started in the 80s when you were huge? Already you were huge in the 80s. Like bands that now are like even classics, like Metallica. Do you think this rock and roll taken to another level?
I never think of it in those terms,
Yeah, I just think that if you get music, like when we was playing, I think a lot of people who saw us in the first time and saw what we were doing, they said, well, maybe we can do this. So it's good in some ways that you get newer people coming along and going, well, I'll take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and they put it together. And some of them are good at it, and some of them, not so good.
Ok, vamos a hacer una pausa, pero al regreso una canción de Fly on the Wall que les estábamos debiendo, Sing the Pink, y también el clásico Back in Black. Así que quédense después de la pausa en Headbangers y seguiremos con Angus y con Ryan. I always wonder about the truth, about the fact that you said it. AC/DC has been doing the same album 13 times because it's just like blues, it's the same chords. Yeah. Did you feel Ballbreaker the same way?
Yeah, I think we always look at it, we've never changed, from the start, we've never changed. And when you buy a new record, you're really buying AC/DC, it's not the sound that's changing. Hopefully you write songs.
Okay.
That's what we try to do. We try to make each record better in our songwriting, but the style is always the same. AC/DC always, when we make a record, we want, you want the rhythm, and the, your toes and your feet to tap.
We saw the interview of you guys in Memphis. Memphis is such a magic city, the blues, America. Which kind of music are you listening to while you're on the road?
Well, a lot of blues.
Blues, in the bus.
Chest records.
Yeah. And we were always, we grew up on this music, this was our music. Whereas I know when I was younger, a lot of people were more listening to the pop music.
Okay.
And I like more the blues thing.
Okay.
And that for me is probably the same as what a lot of people look at. The headbanging music.
Okay.
Very,
very short. Didn't you ever felt the need to experiment a little bit, maybe to take AC/DC sound to another level?
Well, we do this so well,
Okay, if it ain't broke, why you fix it?
That's right. Yeah.
Perfect. Seguimos con AC/DC. Vamos a ver ahora Thunderstruck. Un par de videos especialmente dedicado a AC/DC. Have you ever, this is a pretty tough question, have you ever considered the possibility of stopping, or you want to go as timeless as far as the Rolling Stones?
Well, I just suppose we never think of it, do we? We always
never thought about it. Never entered any conversation that we've had. Nobody's ever brought it up.
We're not as ugly as the Rolling Stones.
and we don't have backing singers behind there, so I guess it's going to be...
Yeah, we
enjoy it, enjoy what you're doing.
And now, so this tour is, maybe there's going to be a new album, you're thinking about new songs already on the tour, like riffs?
Yeah, well, we always, you keep thinking ahead, about what you will do. It never really stops. Even when we finish touring, you always have a lot of ideas and material.
How's the process of songwriting comes in AC/DC? First the riffs, Malcolm and you, or the lyrics, or how is it all put together? Was Ballbreaker any different?
Yeah, we don't, that's one thing we know. We don't rely on what we've done in the past, and there's no set formula, but sometimes you might just have a good tune that you played on, an acoustic at home, or other times you might have just a good singing, a good lyric that you might think, oh, this is good, and then other times you might have a good guitar riff, and you go, I'd love to get this in a song somewhere, and sometimes you're lucky, it might fit a new song, and then maybe not, and then 2 years later you go, I've got a good idea. This riff I had 2 years ago was a great riff. Maybe it'll work with this song.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not a case of you can sit and go, well, this is verse one and chorus here and guitar solo here. We like to juggle it about, and even when we have a song, it's not finished until the last, is it?
No,
in the studio.
The last word.
Yeah. I mean, when we make a record, even up to the last minute, we still, you might change something.
Angus, do you consider yourself as a version for the 90s of Chuck Berry and Little Richard?
If I had a fingernail of their talent, I would think.
Okay.
But hey, for us, AC/DC is not me, it's not Brian, it's the band. We're like a little football team.
Okay, vamos a ver otro video del álbum Flick of the Switch, la canción del mismo nombre, y ya nos vamos despidiendo.
Yeah, 5 aside.
Okay, es el momento de despedida del bye-bye. Thank you very much,
That's
Brian
a pleasure.
Angus. Last
Thank you,
question,
Alvaro.
plans to go to Latin America, Venezuela, Colombia, Argentina, Chile? Not yet.
With nothing confirmed
Yeah.
that if I mean, we got here now, so
High hopes.
high hope. Fingers crossed for us.
Okay.
Thank you, Alfred.
Angus.
Thank you.
Cheers, we
It was
son. All
a
the very
real,
best.
real pleasure.
That was
Thank you
nice
very
to
much.
Thank you,
No
MTV.
saben cómo está lloviendo aquí en Ciudad de México. It's raining. It's already raining. Así que nos despedimos y nos vemos la próxima semana. Bye.
Bye-bye.